Good morning, angels. So it's been at least a couple weeks since I've done a video, and I apologize. Um, I finished my book. It is done. It is sent off. Well, I sent it to the person that is reading it for me. Someone who is in that field and can offer me better advice than anyone. Um, as far as I'm concerned, any publisher. I mean, he's in the entertainment field and he's multi-talented, and to get advice and criticism and all that good stuff from him is, to say an honor would be fucking understatement of the century. Um, anyways, so hopefully I'll hear back from him in the next couple weeks. It was, I knew that it would be hard. I knew that it would bring back memories. I didn't realize the joys of parenthood. I knew that it would be hard, and I even expected it to be quite difficult at certain times. I just didn't realize how much it had an impact on me I was not prepared for. I remembered things that I had locked so deep inside, trying desperately to forget for a long time, that had resurfaced. And it was almost like once I started writing about certain things, it literally just, like a fucking tsunami, like a river, things started coming to the surface. And I would just write, and half the time I didn't even know what the fuck I was writing. I was just typing away, just writing. And so much emotion. I mean, I'm so glad that I had my respite worker. I depleted a lot of my funds because she had Aislinn so much the last couple weeks that I was trying to get my book done. And I'm so grateful, because I was crying, and like I don't usually cry. When I do, it's always when I'm alone. I've cried in a couple of my videos, but it's almost always about my son or my kids. But even when Aislinn was here with me, I would be in my room and he would be playing in his room, and I'm so ashamed of that. But I was on such an emotional roller coaster, and I've been so fucking angry. It's like, I rehashed this stuff all over again. But I've, although I went through it, I've never let myself think about it, deal with it, try to understand it. I just wanted to forget. So in doing this book, I had to face a lot of those emotions. And because in my book I talked about how I felt in those moments, how they impacted me, and a lot of times it would take me back to that time, and I literally was brought back to that time. I could feel the same things I felt then. But not just that, like my senses went into overdrive. I could literally smell certain things from that time. Like I was there. I could smell things. I could see things. I could hear things. And I even sensed Like, I remember when the first time I was sold, I remember I was in that moment. I remember what it looked like, what it felt like, how my abuser, my trafficker, how he looked at me with such evil and no compassion. And I remember just how traumatic that was and how desperately I just wanted my guardian angel to come and save me. So it was like that a lot. It was and it still is, an emotional roller coaster of pain and suffering and trauma. And I'm now that I'm done, I'm trying to put it all away again so I can function, because those couple weeks especially, like, I've been working on my book for a while, but it was those last couple weeks that I was literally working on it 8 to 10 hours a day, sometimes straight. And it was like just an emotional, turbulent ride for those couple weeks especially. And now that it's done, it's trying it, like, and even that's what upset me more than anything is the last week I stopped my workouts, my eating. I mean, I was still eating properly, but I wasn't doing my 6 meals a day. I wasn't following my routine. Like, for 3 weeks straight, I did so good. I was following my routine. I was exercising every day. I was taking my supplements. I was doing my shakes. I was doing my videos. I was so proud of myself. And then that last week I stopped, and now it's trying to get back into that again. So now it's been about 2 weeks since I went off it, and like I was doing so good, man, So it's trying to get back into that groove again, and trying to get that motivation and excitement back of what I've been doing every day. Now that my biggest goal is accomplished, which is finishing my book, now it's going on the next steps, but it's keeping that momentum going. I know I'm going to have to, I want to revise my book, because a lot of it is just getting out all my feelings and anger. Like, it was so therapeutic in a lot of ways too. But I don't want it to sound like I'm attacking certain people. That's not what I wanted. I needed that. I needed to be able to write down and get out of me once and for all how I've been feeling, because I've never been able to talk to anybody about it, to share it, to get it out of me, to say, you know what, this is how I feel, and I'm so fucking angry, and I'm so hurt, and I'm betrayed, and it's not fair. And I've never been able to do that, especially to the people that hurt me, especially to the one person that hurt me probably the worst. That is the one person that was supposed to protect me and never did. But I wanted this book. It's not a success story. I want, in the next 2 to 3 years, I want to write another one about where I'm at that time. And I have every intention of being a published author, of living a good life, of going to speaking engagements and talking on behalf of other victims and survivors. I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want Aislinn to be able to have the life he deserves. My cubs, I want to be in the best place possible in the next 2 to 3 years, and I'm not going to stop till I get there. And I want that book to be a success story. But this one is about what I endured, how I dealt with it in the moments, how I got through it, how I got clean, and how I ended up where I am right now, which isn't where I want to be, but I'm clean. I'm away from my abusers. I'm a college graduate now, and I'm going back for another degree, and I'm on my way to being where I want to be. And that's what this book is about. It's just how I got through it. And that's what I don't want it to be about attacking anyone. And I don't want people to think that. There are people, I didn't add names. I changed all the names. But certain people are going to know who I'm talking about, especially when it comes to my family. But people in my family are going to be angry, and they're going to be upset because they like to keep things private, so they don't have to be held accountable. And this is going to be public. And I'm not doing this to hurt anybody, to get back at anybody. This isn't about them, and I know they're going to make it about them. This, for once in my life, is about me, about what I went through, my struggles, my pain, my trauma, and how I am trying to overcome it. And I am only doing this for one reason, and one reason only. That is to share my story and to help others who are like me. Because this is not talked about enough. This is still being pushed to the side, hidden, private. This is a family issue. This is, all these women that are, and even men are abused and sold, like women and children, men, all walks of life are abused, are raped, are trafficked, are assaulted. But most of the time, they're too afraid to come forward, or they're not going to be believed, which is a huge one. That was the biggest thing for me. That's why I kept all my secrets for so many years, because I wasn't believed, especially by the people who knew what was going on, but made me out to be a liar, or I was over-exaggerating, or I didn't remember it right, and I'm so sick of the fucking stigma and how us victims and survivors, why we're always in the spotlight, trying to justify how it happened, why it happened, like it's our fault, instead of the abuser being in the spotlight and saying, being held accountable for what they did, instead of them being protected by the government, protected by family, friends, whatever. Like us victims and survivors need to band together and say, enough is enough. No more. We are not victims anymore. We are survivors. And we are not going to sit back and allow our abusers and the people who stand up for them take anything away from us anymore. And I want my life, I want everything that I've ever had to go through to mean something. I don't want it to be for nothing. I want to use it to make something better of my life, to help others, to teach my cubs that you don't have to be a victim. And it is not okay for anyone to take anything from you without your permission. So now it's just a matter of me trying to get back into my routine, get back to my positive focus and staying on my path, and to start reaching my other goals. Finishing school, getting in the best shape of my life, working on an editor and a publisher for my book, doing everything I can to try and start my own fundraiser and my own foundation, which is another dream that I have. I have a lot of goals, and I've always had a hard time with following through with things, and knowing that I went through with this book, the hardest thing I've ever had to do, pretty much, to know that I did that. Now I know I can do anything, and I'm going to. So I hope that you will continue to follow me on my journey. And if you're new here, I'm so truly grateful for you being here. I hope you will stay with me for the next year on my vlog, on my journey to overcoming, getting my book published, and finally being in the place that I want to be, which is my book published, being in California, starting a new life with Aislinn, and being a voice for others. And then eventually in the next couple years, being, in 2 to 3 years, being where I really want to be, my own foundation, and being in complete peace, because I have a lot of healing to go. And I know there's a lot more pain to come, because I haven't talked about this and I haven't overcome it yet. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be happy, to not be angry all the time, and to be at peace with myself. So it's going to be a long journey, but I hope you will be there to help me and support me and offer advice and comment and help me be a voice for others and bring awareness to this issue. So thank you. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell, and that way you'll be notified every time I have a video up. So thank you again for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you so much.